Hey guys, Adam aka CSRadical here, and thank you for checking out this episode of the VCR Podcast. For more content, you can visit our Instagram at vcr.podcast. If you are looking for a video version of this podcast, you can visit my YouTube channel at CSRadical. And if you are coming from the YouTube channel looking for an audio version of the podcast, you can check us out at anchor.fm/VCR Podcast for all available platforms. Thanks for checking us out, guys, and let's get on with the show.
You have entered the realm of the VCR Podcast with your hosts, Fish,
They're just bastardizing our childhood and the classics.
Chris,
Nintendogs drove me. It's what makes me want to hurt people.
Radical.
People in general still bitch about everything. It still doesn't change.
Let the podcast begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the VCR Podcast, the only podcast that predates itself from the moment the title is spoken. Adam, aka CSRadical, here with you guys. Vish and Chris, also with me today. We may have an Adam Trump at some point during the recording of this show, but at the time being, he's busy drinking a couple Coronas and dealing with it.
He's also coming back from Daytona.
That was a dry intro.
That was
Yes.
a dry intro. Wow.
So
I tried real hard with my singing.
Daytona, yeah.
He's got the mic. Jeremy's
I don't know.
alive.
I don't know where we're going with this, so I'm
No, I
gonna
don't
I'm gonna
either.
put a stop to this right now.
Quick, to
So
something else.
Adam's
Distraction.
girlfriend really loves Pearl Jam.
Oh, that's a story for another day.
Yeah. Lisa, that was dedicated to you. Jeremy's alive, and she can't find a better man.
Okay.
All
no,
right.
No, this is here. I've taken it. I've now thrown one of Sonic's rings, put it into a different world, and it's gone.
This is
Good
the mushroom
transition
one?
piece.
It was a good transition piece. We just came back from watching Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie. We will get into towards the end of the show, as we
Yep.
want to save the best for last, because actually, in a weird way, it's actually good.
It was good.
Long story short, it's actually good, and we'll tell you why much later into the show. We also are going to get into Birds of Prey, which we also saw.
Yep.
And we will talk briefly about a couple of things related to the Oscars, specifically Parasite and Joker obviously winning Best Actor. But
Yep.
first, it is, as it always is on the show, and I mean by always is, as the last couple of weeks that we've remembered to do it now.
Yes.
Let's start with Chris this time. Chris, what have you been playing this week? Or doing this week?
So I've been playing or doing.
Sorry, I watched Celebrity Jeopardy highlights yesterday. It was all Sean Connery's ones. Like, your mother Trebek.
Wait, there's ones without Sean Connery?
Yeah.
There are ones without Sean Connery.
That's disappointing.
Oh,
I don't want
yeah.
to see those.
No,
I wanna
but
see
when
those
he's like, what have you been doing? I'm just thinking, your mother Trebek.
Wow.
So other than your mother,
So
No,
yeah,
Trebek's mother.
Trebek's mother. Yes. No, I haven't been spending much time with her lately. We've cooled down a little bit. But what
did
I've
you say
been
the relationships in jeopardy?
Whoa. But so this is really great. Anyways, so what have I been playing?
The Wheel of
recently?
Fortune keeps spinning.
Oh
All
my
right, we're
God,
done.
How is this?
How much does it cost her? As long as the price is right, she's in.
Oh God.
Guys, let's continue. Let's not family feud about this.
Yeah, you're right. Let's move on.
Oh God. I'm broken as a human being. I can't. Oh, what was I even talking? So what have I been playing?
Yes, well, that was exactly what we were talking
Who
about.
wants to be a millionaire?
No!
I've been playing Final Fantasy 13-2 for some fucking reason. I'm trying to just get rid of the last Final Fantasies in my Steam library, and unfortunately,
You
I
don't
saved
have
these.
to play them.
dude.
I bought them. It's the only
Didn't
way.
you beat that game on the PS3?
Yeah.
And you're playing it all over again on the PC?
Yes.
So he's a masochist, we found out.
I'm a fan of Final Fantasy.
Dude,
Therefore, I
Dude,
must.
I've seen your Steam library. There is literally hundreds
Yeah.
of games you can play besides.
he got
Final
work to
Fantasy.
do.
I finally broke. I beat another game the other day. Just a Metal Slug game, one of those old arcade.
Oh, those are so fun.
Yeah. It takes like an hour to beat, so I played through.
Honestly,
beat it.
those that like you, if you just play one of those with a group of people, like you like one other person, that shit.
There's
is
a really
so
good
fun.
new one
Yeah.
that came out. It's called, it's not new
Metal
now.
Slug?
No, Mercenary Kings.
Oh, I have that one. That
that
one's
game
a
is
lot of fun.
hard.
Yeah.
Then there's Broforce.
Yeah. And Broforce is
I
fun
haven't
too.
seen Broforce.
Oh,
It's-
dude.
It's fun.
You and I were playing Mercenary Kings one day, and like even with another person, that game is hard.
They're not meant to be fun.
no. Well, they are meant to be fun, but it's like
No. They're meant to be stressful.
Metal Slug, surprisingly, is very, very hard.
It
I can
is.
imagine that in the arcades, you would have dropped lots of money because I had to like continue, like use a quarter or whatever you consider in the game, like every 2 minutes.
You know what game was absolutely like painfully killing on the wallet back in the day on the arcade?
What?
That X-Men arcade game.
Oh,
well,
yes.
that was they were designed like that
yeah,
too.
but yeah, that's
Because every
how
time
they
you
were
use
designed.
the mutant power, it was like one portion of your life goes away.
Yeah.
And it's like you use 3, and it's like all of a sudden you're like half dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was.
It's weird. Using your
brutal.
power kills you.
I will say though, going back to 13-2, 13-2, if I had to play any game in that trilogy, that's gonna be the one
Yeah.
because it actually has really good music. It
I
has a pretty
love
nice
the
soundtrack.
music.
How
Yeah, I've been
long
listening
does-
to the soundtrack while I go to the gym.
Yeah.
So I play it a little bit when I'm at home, go to the gym, keep listening to
They
it.
gave you a Moogle companion which you can throw, which is fun.
Yep.
It has quite
What about
honestly.
a Chocobo companion?
Yeah, that has a
You can
heavy
still get a
metal.
chocobo.
Has a heavy metal chocobo theme.
Yes.
Ooh, nice.
Very heavy metal. It's so good.
Do you think you can ride this chocobo?
It's actually a very
is
good.
it like a country song?
No,
it's metal.
Because
Like
it is
hard
metal.
metal.
Is it not? Is it save a horse, ride a chocobo, or save a chocobo, ride a cowboy?
No.
Because the way you say, like, we gotta ride this.
Because
chocobo.
if I scream into the mic, I'm gonna max this thing
Yeah.
out super hard.
Oh,
it's a-
you're like
it's
doing a metal
hard-
scream, not a country.
Do you think you can ride this chocobo?
Yeah. It's
Okay,
a
the way you said it
hardcore
sounded like a
metal.
country theme. at
I'm also
first.
voice cracking. That's not helping much either.
I know.
puberty. Finally catches up with us.
Yep.
At the young age of 31.
Yeah.
Soon to be 32.
37, buddy.
So I was playing
Doesn't
Final
make me
Fantasy,
feel any better.
playing Final Fantasy 13-2, played a Metal Slug game, and I started watching Man in the High Castle to actually get into it because there's 4 seasons and they're done now, so it's one of those shows you can actually
Oh,
watch.
is the show like finished?
Yep.
Yeah. It's only 4 seasons, so it's going to be one where it's all wrapped up. It's done without dragging on for too long.
I'm
in
okay with
season
the
3.
Expanse dragging on as long as it fucking wants to.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, season 7, like that's as far as.
Well,
any show
I mean, the
should
books
go.
are almost over for the Expanse itself, so they'll probably have an endpoint regardless. So
Man in the High Castle is really good, but it's also based on a book, so it's like I'd say it's just as good as The Expanse. Very different genre,
Is it
obviously. but-
one book or is it multiple books?
I don't know if it's one or multiple. I'm not sure. It could only be one book, and that's why they did 4 seasons because it wouldn't last.
even
very
though-
long.
yeah, it could make sense.
Well, the show that Adam and I have watched, Glow, the wrestling one, it's next season coming out is his 4th and final season, which I think is totally fine because I feel, like you said, if you keep the quality, but don't let a show drag on to the point that
I mean, you
the
don't let
quality-
it outstay its welcome, right?
Yeah. You don't want
like How I Met Your Mother, Friends, Big Bang Theory especially did.
Basically, any show that was popular for more than a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because that's usually what happens. Unless you're South Park, then for some reason you're funnier now than you used to be.
Yeah, sir. I'm sorry, it's your turn.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that one good thing that happened is when I beat that Metal Slug game, or like it's the 4th one I think I have. I don't remember which one it was. I finally broke the 400 mark, and I now have only 399 unplayed games in my backlog.
Oh, props to Chris.
Yeah, I made it down. I'm going through it.
I'm just saying, you could just not worry about Final Fantasy 13.
Well, I gotta play it. I play other games on the side, and then I got the one.
How long does it take to finish that one?
Oh, those are like 60, 80.
Yeah. I really like. I do really like 13-2. Of the 13 trilogy, I'd say it's my favorite one.
Fish, what have you been up to?
So I decided to. I found some spare cash lately.
Who'd you rob?
Your wife, Trebek.
I have a wife.
Your mother, Trebek.
Okay, that makes more sense.
So I.
His mom?
Suck it, Chris. Suck it. So I found some spare cash, which I literally had no idea, and I was completely ecstatic. So I decided to try the Facebook Marketplace this time, and there was a page within the Hamilton region, Hamilton Buy and Sell. So I just happened to post, hey, is anyone selling Star Wars Fallen Order? And a few people responded, and they were all charging the same, $50. And one person messaged like, hey, if this falls through, I still have the game. So I was like, would you accept $45? Because the game itself is $80 before taxes, brand new. So it's around $90. So the game was going to be half off. And frankly, it's a Disney property, so I don't see it going down soon.
What, Fallen Order? Give it 6 months. It'll be under.
Yeah.
It'll be under 50. It'll be under 40 on the store.
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Because Sony,
But it'll be a while.
Because
It'll
Sony
be
isn't
another
Nintendo.
6 months.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
But it's the cheap. It was even the $50 I was willing to pay, but if I could save a little, I would.
Yeah, 45 is a really good price for
So,
now, especially.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting it, and for those who, the Facebook Marketplace is really good because you know exactly who's selling it to you, and it's a lot safer. It's not like a random, like unfortunately with Kijiji, there's been situations, but if you want to buy something secondhand, the Facebook Marketplace is golden. So I've been playing Fallen Order because Adam described it as Star Wars mixed with Uncharted, and I'm not a big Star Wars fan, as I've mentioned.
Yeah, I know you like The Last Jedi. We know you're not a Star Wars fan.
Yep.
But I was just like, hey, I like Uncharted, and Star Wars actually would be a cool video game universe. So I gave it a try, and it's a lot of fun. It's not easy. There is no on-the-fly saving, so it's not like Uncharted, where if you die off a cliff, you come back on the cliff and you continue there. You have to go to the save spots to meditate, and you can fall off a cliff and be resurrected. That's fine. But if you fall off a cliff and just turn the game off, you're going to go back to where you last saved. So if you played like 4 hours and didn't save,
You're an idiot.
4 hours, yeah, you are fucked.
Or you're new to video gaming in the old days where
Yeah.
you didn't just get auto saved every 5 seconds.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
up until I would say PS3 and Xbox 360 era, even on PS2, like you had to manually
the thing is,
save
though,
save
is-
points and everything.
Well, the thing is, with even with games nowadays, like most of them do have on-the-fly savings. Like
Yeah.
most
Oh, yeah.
RPGs have that.
Yeah.
Even what's a game I played recently? I believe Spider-Man had that as well.
Resident Evil 2 has it.
Yes, Resident
No.
Evil 2.
I mean, most games
had
don't
it.
do autosave because it does make sense in the long run. Because I mean, if power outages happen, it can fuck people over. That was the idea of it too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the on-the-fly saving is absent from this, but there is enough save spots. But when you start off, the controls are they're not the most user-friendly, but that's probably because I'm in the infancy of playing that game. So they'll probably be a lot easier, but it's really cool because you're playing like a Jedi. And it is somewhat part of you are playing.
I love it every time. So it's like it makes you feel like you're a Jet. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a fucking Star Wars game. It's
Yeah.
supposed to.
Yeah.
So it's really it's a lot of fun, and I don't think it's worth the $90 that it's coming out for. But
Very few games
very
these
few
days
games really are, because from what I hear, this is about a 20 to 30 hour game.
I mean, if it's a good 20 to 30 hours, it's worth whatever price if you love it that much. The difference is that we now grew up in an age where we're used to 100-hour epics like The Witcher, Skyrim, or others.
Also, it's I would say it's like half open world game. Like it's like an
yeah,
Uncharted.
you can go to different planets.
That I haven't gone to that area yet, or that I haven't experimented with that part yet. But from the way I'm playing it, is you go from place to place, but you can look around where you are.
Yeah.
It's not like Arkham Knight or even like Tomb Raider or even what's it called, Horizon.
No, Horizon's super open.
Yeah, so it's not like that. Like you're kind of like go from one spot to another, but you can explore around the area. But it's not like you go from one. It's like, where do I go from here? It's not like you have to discover where you need to go.
Is it true in that game when you die, like from whatever you've earned, like your experience and stuff from your last save point, like you have to go back and grab it or something? Is that game? Or no?
Okay, so if you die, you lose health and experience. But if you attack and kill the person that caused you to
killed
die,
you? Yeah.
you gain it back.
Oh, that's
it's like
that. I knew there
it's,
was something neat with.
it's like with a Need for Speed game, Revenge. You have a revenge target. So this is like a revenge target, even though the Jedi don't believe in revenge.
Yeah.
No, that's the Sith. God.
And so I actually I was very curious and managed to find a copy of Parasite as well. I know we'll get into that later.
Yeah, we'll get into it afterwards.
All I'm going to say is
Does it need to be said? Because we can get to it when we get to Parasite.
I still think Next Season should have won. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh my god, I fucking can't
We're
believe
going to get into it, but
That's
all
why
I'm
you
saying.
wait. Patience, my young Padawan.
Wakanda forever.
Oh, every time.
Adam's eyes are rolling to the point it looks like Sonic doing a spin dash.
I've become the Undertaker with how my eyes are falling in the back of my head.
He's old. The Undertaker is
Oh,
old.
he is.
I wish I had his money.
I also wish I had his money. Honestly, I wish I had most people's money.
No,
Actually, if everyone
well, if
would
you had
just
most
give me
people's
their
money, you would have a lot of money.
Yeah, if everybody just gave me their money, that'd be great. Anybody
Can you
watching this
imagine?
live right now, money can be sent directly to me.
All we need is $1 per every person on Earth.
I'll take it.
Yes.
Take a cent.
I'll take anything.
He's doing the math.
That's
take hugs.
That's 7 million. Oh.
It's still good. It's
No,
still good.
wait. No, it's more. It's 70 million because 10%
Yeah.
of 7 billion is 700 million. 10% of that is 7 million.
So-
No, 70 million.
Math is hard, guys.
Yes.
So for me, I got through a couple of things and I've started a couple of things. So I finally finished Trails of Cold Steel 2 like I've been talking about.
Nice. How long did it take you?
Which game?
Trails of Cold Steel, that was that JRPG I was talking about.
Hmm.
That game I took, I want to say it was around 85, 90 hours.
Nice.
And I took my sweet ass time.
Yeah.
Because when I play a lot of these games, I really soak in everything and try to complete as much as I can.
I love that about RPGs.
That game ended up finishing beautifully. It ends...
What was your percentage? Or did they give a percentage?
No, that game does... It's more, you just get a sense. Like, I pretty much completed almost everything that there was to complete. There were just a couple, like... There was a fishing thing that I didn't give a shit about. Like, stuff like that. The way the game ends is very satisfying and also is a big shocking bit to the end. Well, I should rephrase it, because there's definitely, like, several times where the game ends, because there is an end, then there's a side story that just kind of ties a couple of things in from Trails in the Sky, so now I had no idea that the two games were even remotely close linked. Now I know. And then there's a little extra bit at what is actually the end, where it's more of just, it's like bonus. It's in the sense of like a conclusion to just them as a group rather than the story
like
itself.
The ending that you're describing is like you like there was a traitor amongst other people, or is it like just like you were kind of like manipulated?
There's the end, which is you beat the boss and one last little thing just to surprise you. That's technically the end. Then there's a side story that ties in the older series with the new series, and that ends. And then there's just like an extra little bit that's more like it's almost like a DLC like happy ending thing.
It was like is it like it was almost 3 endings in one?
Well, in a sense, yes, but it's more like here's your core ending, then the rest is just like fluff.
Yeah, there's some side stories that
funsies.
still also got.
It just
up.
happens to have extra stuff that can be thrown in there that adds more to anybody who's already playing the series. So I was super happy with that. I still prefer the first game over it just because they use the school as a part of the mechanics in that game, and it lets you see things a little bit differently that way. The second game, while it's still really good, I felt suffered because the villain is not necessarily a villain for a good chunk of the game, and then by the time you get to who the villain is, it's like, oh, you're fucking nobody. So it's one of those frustrating ones where it is a satisfying conclusion, but it also is like, man, you could have just done a little bit more digging into that, and it could have been better.
I love it when it's like the villain is not who you think it is, but it would turn out.
Oh, the villain's exactly who you think it is. It's just it ends up turning into a little bit more.
I hate when you get to the end of an RPG, because so many of them do this. You have your villain for the whole game, and then you get to the end.
So, like, half of Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, like Final Fantasy IX's the worst. You get to the end, the guy that you've been against the whole game, Kuja, he, like, gets hurt or dies off,
What's
whatever.
his name?
Kuja.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah.
you said my sister's name for a second.
Yeah. You get to the end and Pooja's there.
God damn it! I knew she was the worst.
But then there's just like, oh no, a giant destroyer of worlds is here. We have to kill it. Like, just random.
Well, geez, Final Fantasy IV, Golbez is the big baddie for the entire game, and then all of a
and
sudden
then-
it's like, it's Zeramus.
Yeah.
What about 6 with Kafka and
Oh, no, that stays.
Kafka is fine. Final Fantasy VII was good. Sephiroth was still the final boss.
8 turns into Ultimecia towards the end because you thought it was Idea.
Oh, actually,
Yeah.
I
10
heard...
is the worst, in my opinion,
I don't
because
even remember who the final boss is.
it's
in
Hugh
10.
Yevon.
I
It's
thought
a
you-
fucking pixie thing.
I thought you
Oh.
loved 10.
I do.
No, the
but
game's
boss
great,
is
but
dumb
yeah.
as fuck.
The last
Oh, okay.
boss is stupid.
Like, you what do you want? Do you want to fight this giant Godzilla-like fucking monster that has been destroying everything you've worked
Very
for?
much so.
Yeah.
Or do you want to go inside him and fight a pixie?
It's like a little orb.
Yeah.
It's a circle.
Yeah. Okay.
Sphere. Kill
so-
the sphere. It was dumb.
Yeah, I know, because I remember, like, I've never, like, as mentioned, I'm not a big RPG guy, but I've heard like Final Fantasy VIII, that essentially the big boss, not the boss, like completely fucks up the entire story and the game completely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say so.
Yeah, I would say that. But yeah, no, Trails of Cold Steel. I now just started Trails in the Sky because obviously you're sharing with us for Steam, so
Yes.
you had the original copy. I've only done like an hour of it, so it definitely looks like an old PlayStation game.
Yeah, I want to
Cool,
play
that's
through
awesome.
that one.
So
Yeah. So you use the one on my shared library?
Yes.
Ah, yay. That makes
So-
me happy.
So far, it's
Do you have a game controller, or do you play on the...
for that game you really don't need it.
Oh, okay.
It's bare bones of JRPG.
Most of the
so-
games on PC, you can do keyboard and mouse or controller.
But I did
Up to
also
you.
finish another game because you had it in your library, and I totally forgot about it. And when I saw it in your library, I'm like, oh shit! I finally scratch this off my list. Her
Tetris.
story.
Her story, yeah.
Her story.
Is it a mystery game or something?
Yes.
Yeah,
Quite.
with FMV. Like,
So,
video.
So here's the concept. So you are sitting in front of a computer, and all you have is a series of cut up pieces of, I guess, like 2 hours worth of an interrogation of a woman, and you can only access each of them by keywording. So it gives you murder to start with. So it gives you like 4 clips, I think, to start with, and you have to take things like keywords, so you can say like death or body or knife or like anything you can think of. And slowly but surely, when she gives you more information, you use those words to try to figure out what's going on, and you try to piece together everything. And sometimes you might come to the conclusion really quick by accident because you say a certain thing that just makes sense, and it pops in one clip that just snaps everything in.
Yeah.
So is it like is it a detective game where like you're solving several things, or
You're
one
not
big
solving
thing?
anything. You're literally just trying to find what happened.
Yeah.
Like you're not even the detective. You're literally just. I won't spoil anything, but you're basically just somebody looking at this footage. It's not like you've
Yeah.
solved the case.
Yeah.
So-
And you have to watch the different footage to finally piece. the
And no
actual
one will
story
go the
together.
same because no one goes the same route with their keywords that they type in.
Oh.
Yeah.
So like I started with murder, then I went with Simon, who is the name of the person who dies in this. So you're trying to figure out like what happened to this man, like that got murdered. And through those 2 searches, you pull like I sat there with a notepad and wrote things down to try to remember all these keywords I wanted to take in.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And
I think Adam Trump has arrived.
he's on his way.
Yeah.
About an hour and a half it took me. I think I solved it within a half hour by getting a certain clip, but I wanted to see how much more I could dig out just to flesh it.
Yeah.
Because you'll know when you finish it, because throughout the game it gives you an idea that you're on the right track, because it'll pop this like vision of a person like flickering in your screen, and then when you actually get to the truth, you will have the image of a person with police lights showing up, so you get an idea. Okay, you know this is the truth.
Yeah.
And what happens from then on is you will get this notification that just, it's like almost like an instant messaging thing, and that basically gives you the heads up, hey, you found out the truth, do you want to stop? I said no because I wanted to see how much more I could dig, just to get a little bit more information out. I still didn't pull everything out, so I've watched a video that explains it all in full. Somebody's even posted all the clips in proper order, so if you really just wanted to see the entire interrogations, you can do that.
So is it like they kind of did the choices for Heavy Rain? Where
There's
if you
no
do-
choices. It's literally
Besides just watching the
No,
video.
but I mean like with what I mean choice, like with Heavy Rain, you make certain choices for the story to flow along in a certain way.
No, it's
where
it's
with
not
this,
even
if
that,
you watch
it's
the
broken.
videos in a certain
It's completely broken up. You may
Yeah.
you like if you hit the right keyword accidentally, you might have the ending in the first 5 minutes. It's possible if you can stumble upon it. But rather, most people, what would happen is you would slowly get information after information, and you keep digging, trying to get a little bit closer. And as the game progresses, you hear a couple of key things eventually that makes you go, oh, and you dig a little bit more, and then it just all comes together.
Yeah.
And even then, although, to be fair, by the end of this game, people are still... The best part, and this is my favorite part of it, is that people aren't even 100% certain what actually happened. There's still
a little bit
There's
up to
still, like, there's no
interpretation.
second game.
So
There's no
it's-
full reveal, but you know that this guy died and what happened. But you kind of don't know exactly who, where, what,
so
when.
it's like Joker. It's like you don't know anything that
You
was real.
know what happened, but you aren't 100% sure that that's exactly it.
Yeah.
You know the bare bones, but all the little details are not necessarily true, and they may be skewed.
I think I need to actually play this
You
game
do.
to fully understand.
And it's
like,
a quick
what's
game.
going
Like
on.
I finished it in just over an hour. It's not. It doesn't take that
yeah.
much time.
So I need to know. And I would like to formally mention that Adam Putin has arrived today.
Hello. I had some very, very concerning things I needed to take care of. Like I was playing Crisis in the Kremlin. And that is what my delay was. But it is good to be here, comrades.
Well, I mean, it's perfect time to, go from talking about video games to talking about foreign stuff. So, the Oscars happened.
The best documentary was Icarus. We got mentioned. Russia got mentioned in the documentary. It's on Netflix. But do not believe all you hear.
So
I mean, there's two things to focus on with this. I think for all of us combined, because I mean, nobody really.
let's
a lot
talk.
of the small stuff.
Like for me, let's talk about. You don't mind? Can we mention Parasite first and then Joker?
Yeah, I'm more than happy with that because both me and Vish have watched Parasite. Have you actually watched Parasite there, Putin?
There are lots of parasites. I am taking care of real parasites.
Have you
not this
seen the
movie.
Korean Parasites?
You mean the U.S. State Department? They're parasites.
Okay, so no.
Okay.
But Icarus, it won Oscar. We get mentioned.
So okay.
But do not believe it.
Adam and I have watched actually quite a few of the films that were nominated for
I
Best
actually,
Picture.
when we were at we were hanging out with a bunch of people at the bar and we were talking about the Oscars. I looked at the list. This is the only time ever in history that I have watched half of the Best Picture nominations.
So for myself, so I know you and I both watched Jojo Rabbit.
Yep.
We both watched Parasite. We both watched Joker, and I watched 1917. Did you?
I watched it. Yes.
Okay, and those are the only ones I can think of that have been
I
nominated.
don't know
The
why I'm blanking on one
Irishman.
more.
I didn't
No, it
watch
wasn't
The
The
Irishman.
Well, okay. I watched 5.5 because I tried to watch The Irishman.
Did either of you say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
That's one I still gotta
yes.
see.
That's one that was.
I
out
saw
there.
that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up. The
I saw a
list
bunch
just
of
to
them
be
too. This
sure.
is
So
the first time in a
okay,
long time.
while I think Parasite was a well done movie, and it was very different. It wasn't like a typical movie, and it really made you.
Oh, Ford versus Ferrari. Sorry,
I didn't see that one.
that one's actually.
I
really
like Ferrari, but I have modest salary. I don't own one.
You own
Salary.
two.
good. That's what happens with communism.
I'm just a man of the people. But Ford vs Ferrari, a good movie.
But sorry, back to Parasite.
So, I think it was a very well done movie. Like you at first hated this family. You thought they were absolute garbage. You thought they
Without
were
spoiling too much.
yeah. Well, you thought they were terrible people. But after a while, you kind of like, oh, I see why they're doing what they're doing. You go from pure like disdain for them to somewhat sympathizing with them, and it's a lot of stuff in there. It's very well filmed. It's beautifully filmed, and as I mentioned, I think it was a good movie. My only thing is with 1917, it was an experiment that I have no idea how like there's certain parts you can tell which are the cuts, because if it's like an inanimate object that isn't moving, isn't like alive or anything, and they're like panning across it, you can tell like okay, they probably paused it there and got the shot like to stay there, and then started filming again from there. So there is technology to like start from there to back there. The way this movie was done was absolutely mind-blowing. It was absolutely just I watched it like I literally just this was a movie you needed to see in theaters almost, because when you're at home watching a movie, chances are like with Adam Putin right now, he's discussing with his Russian comrades on his
He's
phone
talking
right
with the
now.
KGB right now. I
Yes.
think.
Yes, because you're saying lots of things without saying anything. So hurry it up. Let's
I
go.
will, sir.
You say
I will.
nothing. You talk.
It was a
talk.
movie.
It's a movie. It's
So
a
have
movie.
you- have you-
Watch it or don't watch
So,
it.
sir,
It's good.
have you
It's
watched?
not good.
Have you watched 1917?
No, I have not watched. I do not like period pieces unless they're KGB.
It was World War One.
But did they make Russia look bad? I do not like that.
Russia was. I don't think Russia was in there. Was Russia part of World War One?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. You move on. Move on.
I mean, I'll move to the side if you want to bring in the sniper rifle. I'm okay.
So the way it was designed, it was filmed like it was one long take, except for one part.
Yeah.
But it's very obvious what happened. He got KO'd, and he woke up. So that was the only part where there was like an obvious cut in the movie.
Yeah, they would have cut there. Yeah.
But the rest of it was just like done like it was one long take. So this was a movie you could have watched in theaters because you need to pay full attention to it and just watch it as one sitting.
I almost want to say, so it was a movie.
Yes.
Not well. Sometimes you can watch something.
It was a movie about poor people who tried to infiltrate the lives of rich people by becoming their employees. They were poor people posing as rich people.
It's funny because he was talking about 1917. You just went right back into
Yes, I
Parasite.
went back to Parasite because you say everything without saying anything.
I was talking about
So,
1917.
by the way, Parasite, best Oscar, watch movie. Okay, snooze fest, go to 1911.
1911.
Go talk about war movie.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, because you've obviously said several times when we've been talking, Vish, that you think that 1917 should have won. I personally don't care who won, because
I get it.
all things considered,
Oscars are kind of annoying nowadays.
it's an arbitrary award for the most part, and quite honestly, like, if you're worthy of getting that nomination, like, it is something to get a flag to be like, all right, I'll if it's something that I want to see, like, I don't care about Marriage Story, Little Women, or something like that, and it has nothing to do with the titles.
I watched Marriage Story.
I've read the synopsis. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
I'm a guy that likes shooty bang bang stuff. Like,
you
come on.
like entertainment, not art. You like you want to see big explosion.
Yeah, Parasite.
want to.
Parasite, honestly, if nobody, because I had friends that are big into Korean content, so they got me into watching this, and I never would have watched it had it not been for them. Because quite honestly, like, just that kind of a premise, I'm like, well, now that I watched it, I fucking am glad they
If
did.
it was
because
Japanese anime, he would have watched.
well, yes,
Yeah,
that's different.
very much so.
Yeah.
So with I've heard that like for myself, I'm more used to North American films and Indian films for obvious reasons.
That
My
is a
last name is
shocker.
Singh.
He likes
So you like
American movie.
Idol?
Yeah, he like American movie. Shocker. I'm very big surprised.
I'm very big surprised.
So I heard the Korean film industry is actually awesome. Like they have some really great productions.
Well, the thing about Parasite is Parasite's not its own film. They actually pull from other films. So, so it's like a stream. So like there are characters in the film, because it was pointed out to me by my friends who brought me in to see this movie, that some of the characters in the film are from other films, but they've now had a continuous story.
So it's kind of like a shared universe, like MCU.
In a way,
No,
but
do
not.
not disparage
Like
this
not
movie.
it's not like we've thrown in these big names, but it's more like there's side characters that just kind of jump from film to film and like keep doing stuff.
Think of it as like Detective Munch from Law and Order. He has been Detective Munch on Homicide, Life on the Streets, and another show before becoming Dr. Munch or Detective Munch on Law and Order. Same character, lots of storyline, different show.
So it
Like that.
is almost a shared universe. then.
No, don't think that.
It's shared universe isn't the right word. It's
Wrong.
it's
Wrong.
a
It's a
continuous.
franchise.
It's
yeah.
basically like it's taking place in real life. It's a continuous stream.
like
Correct.
Star Trek.
Oh,
A shared universe
uh,
is different worlds, different stories.
Okay, so
It's literally just one
this
story.
is I'm gonna probably get ripped about this later on. This is kind of reminding me of this one Netflix show called Modern Love. So
Off the rails, he said, was never going to happen.
This is crazy.
but here-
you
let
go
me-
off topic more than my friend Donald Trump.
No, Donald Trump doesn't go off topic. He just goes
May-
on his own topic.
So with Modern Love, it's an 8 to 10 episode show where they show that different love stories of different couples and different people.
But they're all taking place in the same timeline.
Exactly.
That's essentially
so
what's...
that's what I'm looking at
Yeah.
it as.
But otherwise, like, I don't think there was a wrong... Like, I look at the list, and at least the 5 movies that I saw to completion, not counting Irishman, I wouldn't have had a problem with any of them getting it. Because for their own values. Parasite is a fantastic, like, movie that has a sort of mystery to it, and then also tells... It has some, like, sneaky, funny stuff in there. At the same time, also has some really creepy and dark shit, too.
And also, Parasite was not afraid to be real.
Yeah, no, that movie really takes some serious looks at what goes on in public, so that did some cool stuff. Ford versus Ferrari, I think, is the odd one out that I think I would be weirded out if it won Best Picture, but it's Matt Damon and Christian Bale driving cars real fast. Like, what's wrong with that?
Jason Bourne versus Batman.
Exactly.
Where are they?
I definitely wanted to see Parasite. I still want to see it.
Do you have a USB stick?
Not on me.
I got one for you.
We'll
don't
figure
worry.
it out.
Yeah, I want to see Parasite, 1917, and Jojo Rabbit. Those are the three that I haven't seen. That
Jojo Rabbit wasn't going to win Best Picture. I
just want to see because
it was a comedic take on World War II.
Yeah.
And Scarlett was a great
Glorious
character.
Bastards without the shit tons of violence.
Scarlett was a great character, and it was a really well done thing where it was like a little bit of like American History X. It's like, I believe this certain thing. I think life should be this way. These people are terrible, but then you're like, we're not so different.
The best way that it was told for me is that Jojo Rabbit is basically like a modern day Mel Brooks film.
Yeah.
That is a very good way to put it.
That is a good way. Yeah.
I like.
But otherwise, the other big thing with the Oscars obviously was Joaquin Phoenix winning for Best Actor with Joker, which I'm still honestly surprised. Like, me personally, I'm honestly surprised. Not even because it wasn't a good role. No, he deserved the award. It's just another one of those things that I'm like, man, they already gave Joker a Best Actor once. Or I guess it was a Best Supporting Actor in that case. But I'm just like, man, they can't do it twice.
No, you know why they do? Because it was not this Marvel Universe movie. It was actually a good movie.
You're right, but
did you end up watching
my brain
it finally?
still
No,
thinks that they're not going to do it.
So, I was noticing one thing about Joker. So, Vito Corleone is the first character.
He's
to
like
have two people.
He's like, I'm
going to
say something about Joker. Vito Corleone.
No, but I noticed one thing about Joker. Vito Corleone was the first character to have two people win an award playing as. Joker is technically the second because you have Heath Ledger and you have Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
So Marlon Brando, he won Oscar for playing Vito Corleone, and
Yes.
who was the other?
De Niro.
Two guys. Are you sure it was not Al Pacino?
Michael Corleone?
Yeah,
No,
they all
I'm
look the
pretty
same.
sure it wasn't Michael Corleone.
They all look the same.
Is that what he just said? All Italian people look the same.
I'm Italian. I have the right to say that.
Only half of you.
Top and bottom half.
To be fair, it's both.
Oh, no, actually, it's the
It's still
top
both.
half, the fur
it's still
coat.
both.
The fur coat.
Anyways,
Anywho.
getting away from dick talk. Otherwise,
So,
but, I mean, the Oscars as a whole, like, again, like, I don't personally look too much
I
into it. I just
think
think
it's
it's...
getting
I did not see Harvey Weinstein. He crashed. But don't worry, lots of friends. They go.
It's
go.
the thing I noticed one thing about this year's Oscar. It was a little fan focused rather than critic focused.
I do not know what you're talking
I mean, like a lot of the obvious winners, or like a lot of people who you think would not have won, because
Why does that mean that's fans?
because it's like most of the time a lot of people while Joaquin Phoenix's performance as Joker was fantastic, a lot of people are like, oh, this is a comic movie. Oh, it's a cartoon movie.
No,
like they
always
wouldn't have
say
voted.
that about Marvel movies, not the Batman movies. They're actually very good. People like the Batman because Christopher Nolan does not have studio interference. That's why. That is very good movies, Batman.
Yeah, those Batman movies were really
They're
good.
very
God
well
damn,
done.
why is he
The
making
Tim
so much
Burton
sense today?
I'm not, well, I am Adam Putin. I'm very smart.
But he's
But Icarus, best Oscar for best documentary. But they make me look very bad. It's very full of lies.
I think
But very entertaining and informative. You'd like.
I think the best part of the Oscars was when Eminem came out to sing "Lose Yourself."
I didn't watch
That was
the
weird.
What the hell was that? Don't get
18
me wrong.
years
I-
after
I
winning
loved
an
it.
Oscar,
I
he
do not
decides to
believe
show.
the two Peanuts come out and sing. You
two
heard the
Peanuts.
Peanuts. M&M, they go and they sing a song. Why? I do not watch, but
I
I
knew
They
it.
hear.
didn't,
I knew
and they
it. As
didn't
soon
even
as you
have the
said two
courtesy.
Peanuts, I'm like,
they
oh.
didn't even have the courtesy to bring out the blue M&M. Bullshit.
It is
So-
like they've got something against blue.
Yeah.
Yep. Always something against blue people. It's just a travesty.
Always
So speaking of Batman, since we were talking about Batman, we obviously saw a couple of movies in the time between these two shows. Birds of Prey was one of them, and that was the first one that we saw. And Birds of Prey was a movie that, when we all left the theater, we were pretty happy with. I've had a lot of time to sit on it. I'm still happy with it.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of stuff that I'm like, it's same with Wonder Woman, where I was really happy out of the theater, and then now that I've sat on it, I'm like, okay, no, there's a little bit of stuff that I'm like, okay, no.
Oh yeah. Okay.
There
What
could have
kind
been
of
some
things?
work done on this.
What kind of things with Birds of Prey?
Immediately that nobody apart from Harley Quinn and Ewan McGregor's not with the mask on.
Yeah.
Everything else is completely inconsequential.
Actually,
most of the characters are so forgettable.
Especially Ramona Flowers.
Yeah, Huntress was... But that's fine. I didn't like her character anyways.
They were trying to make her like a sarcastic...
Every single part of the Birds of Prey apart from Harley Quinn are forgettable.
That's what they were saying, that this really should have been branded more. That's why a lot of people are changing the title.
No, that's not why they're doing it. They're doing it because people were not buying tickets because they didn't know what the movie was.
Yes, exactly. But
they're calling it, the Emancipation of Harley Quinn because it's for the purposes of film theaters to actually advertise it to people who obviously don't know enough about the comic books.
Yeah.
That's really it. I mean, I'm not bothered either way. I mean,
they didn't need the extra characters. Honestly, they didn't need it to be a team. It could have been Harley Quinn, the I think she was Korean, the Korean girl who ate the diamond. I think obviously that would be important for the story, and then just Ewan McGregor's character. They didn't need anybody else.
Ewan McGregor did a fantastic job.
I loved him
until he put the mask on, and then he became a villain that did nothing.
Yeah.
That's my biggest complaint, is he falls into the category of villains. In superhero movies, this happens way more than it should. But he was a villain that did nothing. He had somebody else do all the dirty work for him.
Are you talking about Black Mask?
Yeah. He did nothing.
Okay, so...
He pointed a finger. That was the most villainy he did.
I was good with that, though he should have had
But by the end, he didn't really do anything.
No, that was the one thing. Black Mask... In the canon of Black Mask, have you played the Arkham Origins game?
Yeah.
So Black Mask is actually like that. He will never get his hands dirty. He'll just let somebody else do it.
But on a film, when you want to see a villain get their just rewards, it's hard to really cheer that much when the guy actually didn't do anything.
Yeah, but he was like...
It sounds like very bad character development. If you don't.
Yeah, there was bad character development.
Him playing it as this psychotic mob boss was good. But it would have worked in a movie that was about him as a mob boss, not one that focused on Harley Quinn for 80% of the film.
Yeah.
So we really didn't have that time. He had the couple of creepy
moments. This was designed to be a Harley Quinn movie. I think the biggest problem was it was very incorrectly titled. It should not have been Birds of Prey. It should have been Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey.
Yeah, because
they should have just not had the Birds of Prey.
It really wasn't a Birds of Prey movie.
Oh,
so it was
what's it called? Black Canary. I thought she was awesome.
Yeah, she was
in doses, but again, there's not enough time to really do anything with it. That's the thing. I don't mind a lot. I loved a lot of the movie. The first few sequences, her getting so upset about the egg sandwich that she drops, for example, that was hilarious. It's funny.
Yeah,
the movie itself was really funny.
Yeah,
it was a good movie. Like you said,
as a story, it does not hold up at all.
No.
It's basically just a fan service movie. It's almost like them saying, look, Suicide Squad was really bad. Let's just have some fun now.
Yeah. It was way
Which is
better
weird because a lot of...
understand. It is not about them having fun. It is just about them making lots of money because people are going to pay to see shit.
They didn't make a lot of money in comparison.
It's bombing.
It's not they're
not
gonna make
doing
a profit,
as
but it's not doing what you would expect a superhero movie
it was
to do in profit.
So for example,
Joker had such a tiny budget and made a shit ton. Birds of Prey had a fucking big budget in comparison to Joker. I think it was 5 times the budget, if I'm not mistaken.
DC needs to do more movies like Joker. They need to keep it serious and do real
Well, it's not only that, but it seems like they spend so much money on the effects and doing all the crazy colorful shit because everybody has ADD these days.
When she was when she snorted coke by accident.
And that's the problem. And that's the thing too. The budget I think was around $100 million, but that's not even counting all their marketing and stuff too.
Too much money to spend on shit.
It's weird too because I've seen a lot of people say they even hate it more than Suicide Squad. So it's in this weird category where there are some people that are
so it's very divided.
That means it's very bad because Suicide Squad was one of the worst.
That
movies.
was a steaming pile of poop. I do not like it.
Yeah.
I mean, as a whole, if you asked me point blank, did I enjoy the movie when I was there? I absolutely did, and I still enjoy it coming out of the theater and coming weeks later.
I think it's rewatchable too. It's just fun.
It's just if you're gonna sit here and say that it's one of the better ones they've done, not even fucking close.
It is not going to win Oscar like Icarus.
Yeah, it's not even going to be nominated for anything.
No, it will. Razzie.
I don't know if it's bad enough to get a Razzie.
Maybe.
Here's the funny thing: Joker got nominated for a Razzie, but it was a ridiculous Razzie. It was
what was the Razzie?
It was the worst the worst consideration for property and human life. Something that similar.
Okay, well.
Oh, something those feminists
Because like
get all up
the
in
thing
our
is though,
head.
it's like Joker is pretty depressing. It really is.
But very well written, really good character development, really good.
Well, that's
everything.
the thing, right? By the end of
Acting.
it, you're invested. By the end of the Harley Quinn movie, I wasn't invested in anything other than I was just having fun. It was like I was at a
fun
party.
movie, yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be
I
a
think,
party movie, you're a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10
So,
at best.
I think
you
also,
can't go much higher than that.
Yeah, no.
I think it's just the whole thing. It's like I know Jared Leto's Joker is very frowned upon, and frankly, it deserves to be. I still don't think it deserved. It got the chance it should have. I think what they could have done is maybe included him.
No.
No, I'm
because
glad that they didn't.
Because
have
it would have been the
this
same
one.
as Suicide Squad. They wouldn't have put him enough in there.
Yeah.
Well, I just think. I feel Jared Leto's Joker had potential because when I saw the first picture of him, I was terrified. Like it looked beyond creepy.
Don't feel sorry for him. He made a shit ton of money.
Yes, he
He's
did.
fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
If he was one of us that is now broke or out of a job, that'd be different. Motherfucker's got millions of dollars.
He's
gonna be
I ain't feeling
Morbius.
sorry for
He's
nothing.
Morbius now.
Yeah,
he's no longer
I'm
Joker. He's
looking
Morbius.
really forward to that now.
Yeah,
because-
he's found something else
Yeah, he'll
that
do
looks
that.
like it isn't going to be garbage.
If you want to feel bad for somebody, feel bad for Nicolas Cage. He's a terrible movie actor. Lots of movies, they're just
but they're
garbage.
good bad
What the
movies.
hell
What do you got
happened to
against
that
Nicolas
guy?
Cage?
They are
Like-
terrible.
Face Off,
The Rock and
Con
Con
Air.
Air are amazing.
Yes, but that was a long time ago.
You,
Yeah,
you
his
better
90s
you better not talk
The
shit
Rock-
about National Treasure.
The Rock
They're
is
making
one
a
of
new
my,
one of those.
Yes.
There.
The
Disney
Rock
I
is
will
one of my
fucking watch
favorite
National Treasure
movies.
3.
Yeah.
The Rock is legitimately one of my favorite movies. Like, if The Rock is on TV, I'm like,
Yeah.
leave me the fuck alone. The Rock is on.
90s Nick Cage was good. He even won an Oscar for
Leaving Las Vegas, which was a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Depressing as fuck, but still
He
fantastic.
taught me how to drink a beer underwater in that movie. It was fantastic.
Have you done that?
Yeah. Once in a pool. It actually worked. I was
Well,
very
so
surprised.
when
How
you-
do you do that?
You have to keep your thumb in there, and then you put the bottle in your mouth with your thumb, and then when you pull your thumb out, your mouth seals on the outside of the bottle. But then it's the
So what you're
resealing
saying
it that sucks.
So what you're saying is you don't need to get bubbles from the ground to pop up so you can breathe.
No.
Like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Transition.
So- My segues are on point today. I
Yeah,
feel.
they are
good segues.
This was arguably...
We are hours removed from seeing Sonic,
So-
apart from Putin, who
Okay.
was busy doing more important
I
things,
was
like
playing Crisis in the Kremlin. It is good game.
and advertising Icarus over and over again.
It is true. And Icarus won this Oscar.
Wait,
I actually want to
it,
see it.
is
You're
good.
selling me on this documentary.
So-
it won an Oscar?
Yeah, I just
He said it like 5 times.
This is news to me.
So, before we talk about the movie itself, from the people that actually saw it, yes or no, better than Detective Pikachu? Because it's a yes for me.
Yes.
Shit, I'm conflicted on
Okay, so for
Yeah.
now, I'm saying yes for one reason and one reason only. I actually liked all the main cast in this movie.
Yeah.
Detective Pikachu, apart from Ryan Reynolds, is meh.
Yeah, I don't care about anybody else.
Sonic,
in the
I
Detective
like.
Pikachu.
I like Robotnik. I like Sonic. I like Tom. Like the main 3, all were good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It worked.
it. The kid, I didn't like the kid in Detective.
That's part
and
of
that's
it. Why?
and that's the thing.
But the thing is, though, when I'm looking at the main cast, I'm not thinking about the humans in the Pokemon movie.
Yeah, I think all the Pokemon in that movie were fantastic.
But we're talking the integral part of
But
the
yeah,
story.
like,
like
I'm-
storyline.
The entire story when it comes to Sonic, there's not a weak link in the main character.
It's like
base.
it's like that one scene in Detective Pikachu when the Bulbasaur herd came, and I'm like, I literally want to hug.
Well,
every
that's the
single
thing.
one of you.
I'm looking at both here, and the nostalgia value I'm putting to the side because it's a draw in that. So taking the nostalgia aside,
value, I would definitely give it to Sonic because Sonic.
well, I don't know.
grew
Here's
up
the reason
with.
I'm saying it's a draw because there's nostalgia to both sides. So if you want to
Yeah.
go to levels, that's a personal thing, and
Yeah.
to me, I could never choose between the two. So it's like, look, you're both nostalgic. Okay, you go to the
That's
side.
the thing. That's why I'm having trouble choosing which one.
So because
I
I'm
would
taking them
like
as
more.
movies now,
Yeah.
it's easily Sonic because Sonic has a story that actually does stuff.
Yeah.
Like
I'm surprised how
like Detective
much
Pikachu,
it made sense.
Detective Pikachu is just a series of gags. So let's be completely honest. Like
Yeah.
most of it was a series of gags that had a very thinly layered story on top of
Yeah.
it.
And Also, Robotnik was a full fucking psychopath.
Yeah, and we haven't even
Yeah.
gotten like the actual Robotnik psychopath that we'll likely see in new editions, which, by the way, they want to do. And by all accounts, from what we feel about this movie and by how
It's
well
a
it's doing already in
franchise.
theaters, it's gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
We're not spoiling what happens towards the end either.
So, when we first saw the trailer, we were mortified because Sonic looked fucking horrendous.
Yeah. I was
And
actually really worried.
Adam doesn't think so, but I honestly think the studio did it on purpose to create more notoriety
The
and
reason,
exposure for
the
it.
reason that I don't feel like it makes any sense for why they would do that for more notoriety is because you don't have to do it. If the movie is as good, like let's say without the graphics, the movie was already this good, just advertise the movie and you're done.
Yeah.
But here's
It's
the thing.
Sonic. It's not like it's Assassin's Creed or Prince of Persia where it looks a little bit weird. It's a kid-friendly movie.
Yeah.
It's coming out right around the time that everybody's getting the holidays because it's not even just Family Day here today because that's when we're recording
is
it.
it Columbus
Yeah.
Day?
It's a Columbus
It's-
Day in the States.
Actually, isn't it
President's Day?
President's
Oh, President's Day.
President's
Sorry,
Day.
you're right.
Yeah.
But it's a holiday for everybody, so this weekend has been a great opportunity for them to go for it. I think it's really funny that Valentine's Day is the release date because for
they
a lot.
released Deadpool on Valentine's Day.
Well, no, but it
True.
makes sense that you would put Sonic on Valentine's Day because there's going to be a lot of men on that holiday going, "I gotta go fast."
Hi-yo!
God.
So,
Fantastic.
But I mean, it's the perfect movie for them to do that. They don't have to have a controversy to it.
Yeah.
Not to mention, a lot of people legitimately had no intention of seeing this movie. And some people probably still weren't going to see that movie for the reason that, like, some people like me
Well,
still won't buy an Xbox because I don't care how good it is. You've pissed me off.
can I ask you one thing, though?
Sure.
Like, would you have seen this movie if they kept the original Sonic design?
No.
Exactly.
I would have, but that's because I would have
But if
had to.
they had not, like, let's assume that you're right and that they had the original, like, the original design was just a fake, then just show me the trailer and I would have seen the movie. That's the thing.
Even with the original Sonic design.
No. I'm saying because your premise is that the original design that looks like shit is a fake and
That's
they did it on
Sonic.
purpose. But if the finished design is what they were really going to do the entire time, then why give me the original, the fake one? Just give me the trailer.
all
I would have seen
it's
it.
all marketing,
That's
dude.
not marketing. If it is, that's stupid.
It worked.
No, it didn't.
We saw it.
Yeah, because we were planning on seeing it with the train wreck.
You just said right now you were not going to.
Oh, you would have forced me. You know you would have forced me.
What do I say? Adam wants to see Sonic? Sure.
Because we wanted to see a shit movie. But realistically, if they had committed and said they're not going to do this, well, it's like, why? Like, it's stupid. But again, with the marketing thing, I don't understand what purpose that is. I know what you're trying. No. I know what you're trying to say because controversy. But what is the point of the controversy when this movie is actually good?
It's to create awareness. It's to create word of mouth. It's to create
Yes,
exposure.
there is not enough controversy as it is.
So then, in that case, then the next movie, when the trailer comes out for the new Venom movie and they show Carnage, should they just show Carnage like shit? For the next Spider-Man, if they ever redesign the new Marvel heroes, should they show them like shit on purpose then?
Well, it's what I think it is. Is like I think.
No. I don't want
because
to know your thought. I want to say straight up, if this works, why doesn't anybody else do it?
I think they are doing it, and I think they're doing
When?
it.
Who? Who
Like
else?
like you just said, Spider-Man.
Who else?
Spider-Man.
No. I'm saying who else has already done it. Nobody else has done this. So I'm not believing that it's a thing. I'm not believing it's a tactic.
I think it's,
because I don't see why it would work. Because if you do it over and over again, people will catch on to it anyway.
the thing is,
Because if that was the
I've
case,
seen
that should have been
Disney-
Ghostbusters.
I've seen
Ghostbusters should have done that
think
strategy.
Disney has done it without. I feel like Disney's done it
With
twice
what?
now with Marvel.
With what?
With James Gunn getting fired, because that caused
That wouldn't have
huge
changed anybody going to see
backlash.
the movie. Because we've already seen Guardians. We were already going to see it.
We were, but it caused a huge backlash. A lot of people were pissed off. A lot of people were like, "Fuck this shit! Why they do
What
that?
does
Why
that
they
have
do
to do with making people suddenly want to see the movie, though? That's not the same
It's
thing as what you were
it's-
talking about with
the
Sonic.
thing is, no, what it is Adam. It's creating. Have you heard the phrase "any publicity is good
I
publicity"?
am aware of what that statement is, but I'm saying
So,
point
with-
blank,
with
why
this,
is showing something that looks
Bad
like
news,
shit?
Bad news is going to spread faster than good news. And then when they were talking about James Gunn getting fired, all of us, like all of
That
us
does
here,
not
except
make
for.
me want to see the movie.
That doesn't make me give a shit about any different about the movie.
But then it's like,
Because if that was the case, Brie Larson's bullshit should have kept me from seeing the movie. But I like Marvel movies, so I was going to see them.
speaking of that, I think Brie Larson's exits.
We are not having a side piece on Brie Larson.
You
right
want
now.
to talk about controversy? You want to talk about crazy stuff that makes people want to go see movie? Talk about the movie that is saying lies about Russia. It's called Icarus. They say our anti-doping agency was
I did
all-
see that documentary.
No,
now
did
that I
you?
remember, yeah.
So
It's a lie.
All lies.
They say.
So I feel like
No. I am
Trump-
not finished. I am telling you. Russia had anti-doping state-of-the-art facility that the IOC gave a thumbs up certification. And then what do? They say you dope. Lies. They just lie.
Wrong.
That's controversy.
Wrong.
That is total
Wrong.
controversy. Now people got to see movie.
Radical. Trump's not here today.
Wrong.
No.
Don't be rude.
I feel like
Radical, you're being very rude. Vishal is being very rude. He's interrupting. I do not know that Western people accept guests. That's
I'm
very rude.
Indian.
Oh, I'm sorry. You do not live in.
I
You are
do.
not Canadian.
You are Canadian.
Jackass. I am just saying. You want to talk controversy? I say Icarus. Lots of controversy. They
So
say
it's-
Russia dope. I say no.
So Icarus should have been Best Picture. That's the
It's
controversy.
the best documentary. Maybe a fiction.
So
So-
it's just a movie. It's not a documentary.
But
It's just a
anyways,
movie.
So
like,
it should have
what-
won Best
Fictional
Picture.
story.
Long story short, Sonic was actually good. So
It
let's
was
actually
really
talk
good.
about the fun parts of Sonic.
Sonic was
It's-
amazing.
Jim
It
Carrey
was
was-
definitely made for fans.
Yeah, it had a lot of fan service.
Why
in
do
there,
you
too.
say that like it's a good thing? They just milk your wallet.
I will actually
was gonna
combat
happen
that.
anyways.
I will actually combat that. I don't think it was made for fans. I think it was just a fun movie for anybody. I don't. It's not like Endgame was made for fans. Let's be honest. Endgame was made for
Yes,
fans.
yes, that was made for
That's
fans.
what I look at when I think
The thing
made
is,
for fans.
I think Endgame wasn't necessarily made for fans.
What?
No.
That was just fan
It
service
was-
the whole movie.
Okay, the portal scene was definitely fucking made for fans. But Endgame was made for like people who were just it was even if you knew nothing about the MCU, you kind of like you could watch it and still be
No,
entertained
that's
from
full
it.
of shit. You'd have to see at least a good
just
chunk
want
of
No,
it.
but
Yeah.
it was made in a way that if you saw
for
it,
Michelle is Man Crush Universe. I do not understand why he talk like that.
But no, like the reason that I say I don't think
Crush
Sonic's a movie that was made for fans is because it's not like it bludgeoned you over the face with stuff. It just
Yeah.
happened to be a movie with Sonic in it. Like it was just a Sonic movie. There
was
wasn't
passing by.
there wasn't like a constant prodding of like,
passing by.
you see the thing. Like apart from him getting his shoes,
Yeah.
like that's really the only like
So,
obvious.
I
nod.
think
No,
it was
it-
just it actually kept to the source material because usually when you
yeah.
get this stuff, they go so off the rails.
Like honestly,
Like,
what we watched was a family-friendly movie
Yeah.
that had Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
It was.
know,
It wasn't.
there is
I would. I would never
TGP
say it's a fan movie.
loves
We just
Sonic.
happen to be
No,
fans
the
of
reason
Sonic.
I say that
It's like
Endgame wasn't a fan service.
I'm not. Why are we going back to Endgame?
But, no, but here's the thing, and okay, because like you didn't agree with me, but Endgame was made in such a way that you could understand the story, maybe not the whatever happened before, but you could understand the story behind it, and then everyone would be like, okay, what the fuck happened before all this shit?
You know
And
what
then
we
they would
call
go back.
Sonic in Russia? KGB 011. He is sleeper spy. We like Sonic.
So
That's the
Sonic,
sequel.
Jim Carrey, though, dude.
oh, he was.
I was
was
worried about that
good.
casting at first, and then upon
I was
watching
not
the movie,
worried
I'm
at
like,
all.
Yeah.
oh man, this is
We
great.
like Jim Carrey in Russia.
Well, the only reason is
Except
because
when
he's been
sings.
out of the game so long that I'm like, eh.
But he even said when we saw when we were watching the pre-movie stuff, he said he loved doing it because it was so outrageous, and it was.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's gonna be good at it.
Yeah, yeah.
I
true.
like
No,
Nicolas,
Jim Carrey
Nicolas
could be
Cage
outrageous.
loves doing a lot of things, but they're also really bad.
Yeah,
but
like
Jim-
dating Jenny McCarthy. She's crazy.
No, but Jim Carrey is known.
He did.
Well,
The
remember,
Mask,
I'm
Ace
also
Ventura, these are outrageous characters.
yeah, but remember, I also went into this movie just being like, please be just not shit.
Yeah.
Like no matter how much better vibes we were getting going into the movie, and even though I had people tell me they actually fucking love the movie, I still went in thinking it's a video game movie. There's literally one good one still, and
two if you count Wreck-It Ralph.
again, it's not a video game movie. It's
There-
it's a movie that is
About video games.
yes.
There is 2, but it's not Wreck-It Ralph. It's Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I mean,
you
Detective
can fight me
Pikachu
on
kind
that
of
one.
falls into that, but I also look at Detective Pikachu still to
Pikachu
this day
was-
as it's not necessarily a Pokemon movie. It just is a
Well,
movie with tons of nostalgia.
Detective Pikachu. Well, Pokemon's a little bit of a double-edged sword because it's a video game, but it's also an anime series, so it works both ways.
Yeah, but I mean, the anime series was still about going out and catching them all. Or in the case of Ash Ketchum, not winning a fucking tournament for 30 years till he finally won one last year.
Yeah. What the fuck?
But like, no, it's like, so I'm gonna actually make a cheers at this point, guys, because there's a crazy thing we get to say this year. Cheers to 2 straight years of a gay movie actually being good,
Yes.
which has never happened before,
Yep.
which is insane.
That is good.
And now we just hope that 2021 will elicit something else. Although Monster Hunter will be coming out this year as well, so
and I
we'll
think-
see if there's the bad
I'm not
one that comes
confident
back.
on that one.
Actually,
I'm not
I think the next Tomb Raider movie is coming out next year as well.
Eh.
Yeah, the first one it was
Just leave
great
Martin
casting
Lennon
and stuff,
come
but
alone.
I didn't fully.
You didn't love it, but it was
I
still
didn't love it.
I
fun.
guess here's the thing. As long as we're not getting like, oh my god, it's so bad. Now if it's more just like, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
That's
If you
like par
set
for the
the
course
bar
for us
very
now.
low, you won't be disappointed.
That's
Name
like-
of your sex tape.
My bar for Sonic going into the theater today was, as long as I don't hate it, I'm already happy. And
Yeah.
I went, and as the movie started, I'm like, okay, I actually kind of like this. And then by the end of it, I'm like, dude, that was fun.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And there was like really subtle Easter eggs, like some of them we don't even get.
Well, that's
we
the
haven't
problem.
even caught on
I
to
hate
it.
when people say, oh, there's Easter eggs in the movie. I'm like, yeah, but I'm in a theater. I can't pause the movie to check shit.
Yeah.
I was like paying close attention to any Easter eggs. There's spoiler. There's 3 I noticed. One was the shoes. The other one
Yeah.
was when
I mean,
Sonic
if the
got,
Easter egg is one that they just literally like open up and pour on your head so that you have to
Yeah,
notice
like
it.
they just showed where he got
one.
his shoes. Yeah.
Another one was was when Sonic got knocked down and all the rings spilled.
Yeah.
And he had to pick those
Yeah,
up.
nice attention to detail.
Yeah, that's a nice attention.
And then
yeah.
obviously Mushroom Hill Zone.
Yeah.
That one I didn't catch on.
Yeah, well, you'd have
Where-
to play
what game is that
Sonic
one
and
from?
Knuckles.
Sonic and Knuckles.
Okay, that one
Yeah.
I would.
I love
Oh,
the
the-
fact that even though he was already going through Green Hill Zone in the beginning of the movie, the place he goes to in Montana, of course,
Is called
is
Green
called Green
Hills.
Hills.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there was 4.
Hilltop
Yeah, you saw the
was
hilltop
on a
thing.
sign. I'm
The
pretty
chili
sure
dogs.
the chili dogs. I'm pretty sure his
I didn't
bed.
catch on to that one.
His
because-
Well, you
bed in
didn't
his
see the
room?
Saturday morning cartoons.
I did. I just.
Oh, so then you just
I didn't
don't
watch
remember.
it enough.
The bed in his room was a race car bed,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure it's the car
Sonic
he drives
Racing.
in Sonic Racing.
Yeah, that would probably be right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like as a whole, like from start to finish, the story is like I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's a masterpiece, but it's coherent.
It's the Godfather 2 of video game movies.
I mean, by that logic, it probably is because it actually has a story that finishes.
It's got a good story.
Actually, you may have a point there.
It's got a good story.
Sonic the Hedgehog, the Godfather of video game stories.
The Godfather 2.
It's
Yeah, they're both still good.
It's a good movie.
Godfather 2 is
It's
better.
got a good story. It's family friendly, but it's one of those ones like Shrek where like adults also find it funny and like the humor. Like when he was driving and he was like, "Oh, I'm like Vin Diesel in Fast and the Furious."
He just starts quoting.
Yeah, and he's like, "It's all about family." Like you
Like,
have
there's
to
a lot of funny pop culture references.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I thought it was. It
and
was
then
good.
the floss dance.
And then he didn't need to do it twice.
And
but
the
it was
kids
funny when he
giggled
did it.
so hard the first time, so I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they were trying to
And
make
they all
it
went
that
home to
it
play
was
Fortnite.
appealing to like when Ben Schwartz was doing that interview before the movie. Yeah, it was we watched it in theater, so they have all these special
The pre-show.
things.
The
The
pre-show,
pre-show. Like when Ben Schwartz was talking about it, it's like kids are gonna love it because it's like it's made for kids, but then adults are gonna be like, oh, I get that reference. Oh, I get that reference. I get.
It was
that
also
reference.
interesting too that like Robotnik was actually like an asshole too. So
Oh,
it
he was
Yeah.
an
it
evil
was it
fucking
wasn't
dude.
it wasn't just like because Robotnik normally is just like a
clown.
yeah he's
Yeah.
this guy was like a mixture of just being stupid even though he's like a brainiac. He's like the dumb brainiac that just does weird stupid shit.
Yeah.
But he's also just a fucking dick.
Yeah.
No, he was like full out fucking evil. Like he was like almost like a Lex Luthor type of evil dude.
But now that obviously there's going to be a continuation, and I think people got the sense of it is that because I think the stories came out a long time ago too that Robotnik like in his Robotnik form was not a thing in this movie really.
Yeah.
It does show up at the end, so I think we know that as this series moves forward, we're going to get the more psychopath like just crazy joke level like Robotnik because he was
Yeah.
already like making quips while he was where he was at the end.
Yeah.
So I think that there's definitely an opening that we're going to see more of like the
the
classic
only,
Robotnik again.
the
And now
only
we've gotten away
Sonic
from the
games I've
human
ever-
Robotnik.
Yeah.
finished are Sonic 2 and the Sonic Adventure, the first one for Dreamcast. Those are the only two I've ever like fully finished from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Does he make like these cheesy puns and shit like that?
Well, considering that for most of these games he doesn't talk.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
Not really cheesy puns.
Robotnik's more just like he just says things like "I'll get you next time, you hedgehog."
Yeah.
Like that level. So he's basically like what's his fucking Mr. Claw from Inspector Gadget.
Dr. Claw.
Dr. Claw, thank you.
Yeah, he's like a Dr. Claw.
But
I'll
otherwise,
get you next time,
anybody else have
Mr. Claw.
anybody have any other thoughts before we move on to our last little bit here?
I just loved it.
I at first I thought it was gonna be a one and done train wreck like most video game movies, but no, this is the start of a franchise, and I can see at least 3 movies.
So a
from it.
grade right now, like if you're giving it a score out of 10, I'm doing an 8.
7.5.
I'd give it an 8.5, which is pretty high. And the extra 0.5 is nostalgia.
I give Icarus 9 of 10. Except they lose one for Lies of Russia.
So the last thing we want to do is because this came up, we immediately started thinking about it as soon as it showed. Because at the beginning of this movie, it shows almost like a Marvel level
Mosaic
collage
screenshot
screen
of multiple Sega games.
and saying Sega Films. So it makes us think that obviously Sonic's like.
This is the start.
I'm
of
gonna,
something
actually,
special.
while I'm at it, I'm gonna take a look at the box office numbers so far for Sonic.
I know it's over 100 million.
Oh yeah,
globally.
it's fucking crushed.
It did better than Detective Pikachu in its first
Yeah.
in its opening weekend. So
I mean, it's smart. They had a long weekend.
And the thing is, we
Yeah.
didn't even watch it in AVX. We watched it as a standard movie.
Which I never want to do that again. I love AVX. I've just realized how much I
Well,
need those
the thing-
reserved
the
seats.
big- the thing,
yeah, so
that
far
was the thing.
the budget for this movie was 85. It's already making 30 million. It's already hit 113 worldwide. It's 70 million domestic.
I'm
Wow.
seeing it going up to 250.
Oh, this thing will go much more.
Domestically.
This thing will go domestically. International, I would not be shocked if this goes 300,000,
No, it's
400,000.
probably going. No, I think it's going to probably go like 5.
It could hit 5 or 6. It depends on how it does in some other areas as well.
Well,
Yeah.
this is.
I mean, Japan. I can only assume.
Well,
in
it
Japan
was.
It's gonna
Is
do
Sonic
really well.
big in Japan like it is here?
It's
where it's from.
Yeah.
I get that, but sometimes some products do better here than they would in Japan.
Oh no, it's popular in both.
I mean, we assume that it became a thing here because Genesis kind of did what it did here, and Japan didn't take with Sega nearly as much. But Sega has become like a cultural thing in Japan. Like,
Oh yeah.
Well,
the main
because
the main
Sega is available on all platforms.
well, not even
now.
that. The main arcades in Japan are run by Sega.
Yeah.
So Sega has like
They're
the actual
huge there, yeah.
like Nintendo is still the big game in Japan, but Sega owns like all the little stuff on the side.
Yeah. And I think Sonic's pretty huge worldwide because it was in the early 90s that Sonic the Hedgehog was more recognizable than Mickey Mouse,
Yeah.
which is huge.
So
Globally, I get that because Asia has a bigger population than North America does in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they also have their own Disney theme parks. Like there's Disneyland
That
Hong
is true.
Kong, there's Disneyland Tokyo. I think Tokyo.
No, I don't think Hong Kong does. I know. Tokyo
I mean, Hong Kong
does.
doesn't really have much going on. They're a little busy right
There's
now.
something. No, I think there is one in Hong Kong because that's
There's
where
one
everybody in the Philippines.
There's
is
one
going
in
when I was
Orlando. There's one in France. There's one in California, and there's one in Tokyo.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Hong Kong.
Well,
I feel like there is because I knew a bunch of people that were going to one in Asia, and I don't
Okay,
think it was
Google,
Japan.
is there a Disney
have
park
a
in
computer.
Hong
Fuck
Kong?
Google. You know what? This is going to be my thing. Fuck Google. There is a
Why
Hong
does
Kong
he want
Disneyland.
to have sex with Google?
It took me
I do not
2
understand.
seconds, and I found out the answer was yes, there is a Hong Kong and Disneyland. Fuck you, Google. Hey, Google, shut
Okay,
the
Google,
fuck up.
stop.
Because Google's voice is a woman, does that mean that he has sexually harassed Google?
No, I asked Google if
Possibly.
there's a park in Hong Kong.
And
No, he
what
said-
she's wearing.
He said, fuck Google. So I don't know if he was harassing Google.
Well, I mean, I guess I can say fuck Alexa too, because I don't care about the Amazon thing either.
Yeah, true.
So anyways, so when we were talking about I almost said Fega, still, I'm like, Jesus Christ, English is
and he
difficult.
is homophobe.
What just happened?
Which is half ironic.
Yeah, no. So when we were thinking about Sega films, we figured, okay, well, what could they do with it? Because they obviously showed a lot of different games.
Yeah.
So this is the full list of their franchises. This isn't single games. This is actual franchises. And I'm not going through every one because...
I'm just gonna mention 2 of them.
Why can't you just let me get to them on the list?
So the Vector Man, I think, could be a
you're
cool
such a
TV
prick.
show, and Kid Chameleon as well could be a
Okay,
cool
well,
TV show.
no one's talking about them now, so go fuck yourself. So the first one...
That means you could take your fist and put it in your ass.
Would you like to smell it after?
Thanks, Putin.
You're welcome.
Why? If,
Would you like to smell it after?
So some of these...
Smell? Smell the fist?
Yes.
Oh, because it smells like ass.
Yes. Would you like to smell it?
Not right now, later. Go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
So this list can... It could be like big franchise. It could also be things they could do one-off movies. And I mean,
Yeah.
we're also going to be joking with some of these. Because like there's something like, say, Afterburner. Because you can make it like Top Gun.
One question. Is Madden a Sega franchise?
no.
I'm going to fucking kill you. Anyways.
He says that every week.
Yeah, because you kind of elicit that reaction. Thank you very
I'm
much.
aware of
And he
that.
gets slowly closer to doing
I don't think they ever really did much with it, but they could always try to see if they could revive Alex Kidd and do something with it.
Oh, yeah. Alex
Which one's
Kidd.
Alex Kidd?
That was what they defaulted. That was what came out with the Genesis. Like
Yeah, that was their original mascot.
that was before Sonic. Sonic,
Huh.
Alex Kidd, and Altered Beast was like the 2 big things they were trying to push with Genesis,
Far
and
from
they
your
didn't
grave.
work.
Okay, so I was recently watching a YouTube video or a Facebook video about Altered Beasts. It's I know it's extremely old and dated, but it actually looks horrendous.
I love that game. That game's amazing.
like it's
You have to play it first before you get to say that, sir.
No, I played Altered Beast, and I think it was fun back in the arcade days and in the early 90s.
So then why can't it just be fun still?
It's extremely dated. The
It's a
mechanics
fucking
are...
Genesis game!
No, but there's some that are dated, but they're still fun. But Altered Beast just looks and plays horribly.
Because it was made in the 90s!
I'm aware, but there are some games from the 90s
Yeah,
that
I
are
think
timeless.
that one was 89.
Actually, I think it's 88 now that I think about it.
Yeah, it's extremely dated, like painfully
You know what else is dated? Pong!
It is very dated, yes.
But
I
not
also
like
love it.
Tetris.
Asteroids! Centipede! Dated!
When was the last time you
My
played any of those
favorite
fucking
Russian
games?
video
Because
game,
they're old.
Crisis in the Kremlin, very dated.
Because there's no
And
Christ.
Tetris, very dated.
Now they would never do this franchise because everybody would freak out because it's too sexy. They wouldn't do Bayonetta, but Bayonetta would actually be a fun movie.
That'd be a fun movie.
I don't know.
Dude, don't tell me that wouldn't be a fun movie.
No, I am not. I want them to make it. You don't get it.
They would get mad because it would be a girl in a skin tight suit and they'd be like, oh, she's over sexualized.
Yes, because
But we could
Zero
do
Suit
that movie in
Samus would
Russia.
not work at all as a fucking movie. Like, I'm sorry,
I'm not
but
saying it wouldn't, but there would be people that
there-
would
I'm
complain
sorry,
because people complain.
Okay, but I get that, but it's a little hypocritical with this part because I get the whole skin tight thing, but I'm sorry, most male characters in video games and all pop culture are wearing tight, revealing clothes to show off their physiques. So why is it okay for the men to do it, but for a female character, it's sexist and rude and demeaning?
You know
What
you're like
about this?
5 years late for that conversation. Gamergate's been a long time ago.
Gamergate.
Somebody get him a DeLorean so we can go back in time.
I'd like a DeLorean.
No,
Yes, I also want
it
to
needs to work both ways. I'm sorry.
It should have worked both ways, but it doesn't. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's been a conversation we've done a long time because
Like,
Black
okay,
Widow
so-
still got flack.
Okay, so
True.
I saw this hilarious meme. It was a picture.
Was it?
It was. It was a picture of Barbie. This is Barbie objectifying women, giving them unrealistic body expectations for over 60 years. And then He-Man, who's arguably the manliest man, is like, this is He-Man.
Done.
Done.
Yeah, that was
I
it.
actually like the meme where it says, I bet you shower naked. Slut.
I thought he was going to say, I bet you like shower naked. Like how much I like Icarus.
My bladder is about to blow up. I'll be back.
I
Good,
like
we got
it.
rid of
I
him.
like it. It's good. The meme is very funny.
Yeah, that is.
There's a couple of weird ones they could go with. I don't know if you remember this series because it was like a small one in the 2000s, Condemned, that horror series.
Oh, I don't remember that
So
one.
Sega could do a horror movie.
Yep.
We talked about it earlier, Crazy Taxi.
Crazy Taxi would be interesting as a movie.
It would have
and I
to,
would wanna see
like,
it.
if they were going to do it, it'd have to be animated. You can't make that real. It just wouldn't make any sense. It would look weird.
Unless they just did a lot of car accidents.
That's why I think it would have to.
Yeah.
You don't have the budget for a Crazy Taxi movie in live action.
No.
You better just...
Also, what would be the story? A taxi driver that just has to get people to...
So it's
places
speed.
fast? It's speed, yeah.
It's speed with a taxi, let's be honest. That's what Crazy Taxi is.
Yeah.
Daytona, USA, so basically they just make a car racing movie, so it's just cars.
So it's Days of Thunder, but...
It is Daytona USA. It's for Bubba. It's white trash racing. You go in the circle, you turn left, and go fast. Very good.
Yeah.
Now we get to something fun.
What?
Echo the Dolphin.
Oh my god.
There's a kids movie.
Yeah, that would have to be a kids movie, like when they did that Flipper movie.
That's what I mean. It would just be like modern day Flipper.
Yeah, it would have to be. Also, that game sucks my asshole. So, it's too hard. I've never made it past the second level. Fucking dolphin.
It's like almost like old games are intentionally hard, so it takes you more than the 5 hours it actually should take you to finish it.
Yeah.
I hear Echo is like one of the most painfully, brutally hardest games to finish.
It's brutal.
And also, they've made Flipper the dolphin, so it's kind of the same thing.
That's why Echo is possible. They could do it. It wouldn't be good, but they could do it. I'm literally having fun with this list. That's all it is. There's only really going to be a select few that they
Echo
actually
would
do.
have to be a direct-to-DVD movie, though.
Now, one they would actually take seriously would be Golden Axe. Because you could do a super, like, fantasy, like magic and might sort of deal.
So
Conan the Barbarian.
How many Golden
with some
Axes
magic.
are there?
I want to say
3?
I want to say there were 3, and then they did like a remake on 360 that was
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
Would Golden Axe be like an epic saga like Lord of the Rings, or would it be like a one-off game?
It depends on
Or
how well
would
the
it-
first movie did. Honestly, like you can
Or
make.
would it be a movie that Yui Ball makes?
Well, no, that's House of the Dead,
Yeah.
which is also on this list.
It's
Yes.
it's awesome. It's absolutely horrendous, but it's
Golden
fun
Axe,
to
like,
watch.
There was some like Golden Axe you could do legit for a trilogy if you wanted,
Yeah.
but you'd have to make the first one really good.
Yeah. And you'd have to have a
Also,
good story.
Golden Axe doesn't really have much of a story, so I mean, you basically would
no.
just be making a fantasy movie that just happens to have a guy with a big axe and probably doesn't wear pants.
Yeah, you'd have to
Or a
like
shirt.
make a story from scratch.
So
I mean, that's what they did with the Sonic.
just get
movie.
Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
Get
he
Dave
would work.
Bautista in a wig because it'll be even funnier.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
Next up on here, you could do Gunstar Heroes if you remember that one.
Could work.
That would be
could
fun.
Work. That would be fun.
Gunstar Heroes. I don't remember that one.
It was a fun shooting.
Yeah, it was like just it was
Style
like
type
a crazy like run and gun sort of deal.
Yeah.
It's kind of like sci-fi ish.
Yeah.
You could have fun with that.
Yeah.
Hang On if you want to do just Daytona but with bikes.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Or Road Rash.
Well, I don't know if that's Sega.
I don't think it's
don't
Sega.
think so.
I know
It is
it's
not.
definitely on Sega. but-
Otherwise, like I said, House of the Dead, Jet Set Radio could be a fun
Jet Set
one-off.
Radio would be a
that would be a fun one-off. I wouldn't
but
make that
I
a series.
would-
It could be a good one-off.
The thing is, though, would Jet Set Radio be live action or would it be CGI?
Oh, it'd have to be that you could make that live action.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's you basically give it the same color set as Harley Quinn movie did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Jet Set Radio would have to be CGI.
No, it wouldn't. It's
you
just
get people.
rollerblading.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You
no,
get
but
people
the way
rollerblades.
they're painting, though, is kind of...
Graffiti and rollerblading. They can do that live action pretty easy.
Dude,
Yeah.
like, those, like... I don't know, maybe looking at...
They are
as
not
too
doing the
literal.
moves verbatim. Not to mention there are things called wires.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Like
it's
you
not-
honestly could just turn it into a game where it's like a bunch of punks, trying to just overthrow the mayor because he's a dick.
But
Yeah.
like, that game, like, itself is
Yeah, but
fucking
I'm not saying
awesome.
make it like literally to a T. Just take the license and do something fun with it.
Yeah, yeah. They'd have to change it
And you
again
could
from
easily-
the
you could
good.
definitely do that with
That's
Jet
a game
Set.
I think could use a reboot.
Yeah.
Well, for
As well.
sure.
Yeah.
Let's see, Panzer Dragoon.
That one would be
I
one they
think
could
that-
definitely make a
Speaking of
movie
fantasy things,
I
that'd be
think that
nuts.
could be better as a show than a movie.
Again, we're just talking about films as a part of the Sega film franchise.
I get it. I think it's...
fuck the Netflix conversation for now because the only reason we
I
did
am
this is
not on
because it said
Netflix.
Sega Films.
Yes, let's
Yeah.
fuck the Netflix thing in the ass.
Hey,
TV
Chris is
shows,
on there.
who cares? Another one, racing-wise, Outrun.
Outrun could work. That one would be more fun
I don't know.
than
I don't-
Knights you could do as another CG.
Knights.
Do you remember Knight? It was like the wizard-looking thing
Or
on Dreamcast.
actually, Knights.
Yeah, yeah.
Knights could
yeah,
follow
Knights
the
into
same...
Dreams.
Yeah.
That was a
Knights
cool game.
could follow the Alita format.
yeah,
Like,
I could do
Yeah,
that.
could do that.
I have a real soft spot for this. Obviously, Chris will too. I really would just love to see a Fantasy
hear
Star
it.
trilogy
Fantasy Star would be amazing.
because sci-fi epic like battles with giant sandworm monsters and shit like that. That is a sci-fi epic.
Yeah.
If I ever saw one.
Yeah. It's a really good JRPG.
I'm not familiar enough with this.
It's
Well,
like
here's the thing.
Sega's Final Fantasy, but it's more cyber.
But it's like cyber.
Mecha?
It's like cyber fantasy is the best way I could call it. It's still in the lane of like swords and stuff, but it also has sci-fi tech with guns and shit. Yeah. It's basically like Final Fantasy and fucking Mass Effect had a baby and put it together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really good.
Those are
They
really,
could make
really
a
fun.
really cool... Because the 4 games are also, like, unlike Final Fantasy, they actually connect.
Yeah. But you don't
so
even
it's
have to do it. You can
But
literally
is it that the stories all connect and you kind of have to play the previous ones before, or
No, you
like
can still play them
no, you
individually, but there's always ties in.
And there's ties in, and usually it, like, when you're playing the 4th game, it mentions how it ties to the first game and does a quick
Oh,
recap
so
or something.
it's not like you're completely lost going into the 3rd game as you...
No.
Oh, okay.
All right, so now we're on to the best one.
Okay.
Sega Bass Fishing.
Oh, you took the one I was going to say. Damn it. I was like, that's got to happen.
So, it would be like that mini game in Sonic Adventure with the...
No, Sega Bass Fishing is better.
Yeah, it's just the fishing.
Didn't it literally have an arcade game with a fishing rod?
Yeah. It's on Steam. Like, you can still buy this
It's
fucking
wasn't it on the Dreamcast with the...
Yeah, it had the peripheral for the fishing.
But in all seriousness, otherwise, Shenmue they could try, I guess.
I don't
feel
know anything about Shenmue.
It would work.
I don't know
in
enough.
What's
it has
the
a
story
script
behind
already.
it?
Yeah,
I
like,
couldn't
that's
tell
the
you
thing.
anymore because it's been so long.
Yeah, it's.
Did you ever play it on the Dreamcast, or
No, I played it.
or did you
on
play it at all?
But it
I
is
think
a
on the
big
original
name. That's why I'm
Xbox
bringing
or
it up.
something. I think I have 1 and 2
Like-
on Steam, or like I have it wishlisted. I don't know.
Shinobi.
Shinobi would be really
Shinobi
cool.
would be awesome.
Yeah.
I think Shinobi would be cool to like. The way I would format it is, the first game would be like a full fucking ninja game. The next movie, I mean, would be more character movement, like going to his past, like how he became this way and everything, and to keep people.
Yeah, it's just a ninja epic.
Yeah, it would be a ninja.
Yeah.
epic.
After that, Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
Yeah, no, that was a great
Oh
movie
man,
already.
why haven't they made that movie?
Now this is
yet?
a small one. You may not have heard of this, but because of the Yakuza games and they have the arcade games that have older games in it, there's Space Harrier.
Yeah, Space
Never
Area.
heard of that one.
It's a rail shooter where you're almost like I think is it a jetpack or is it something like you hold on to, but you fly up
It's
and
a
down in the air and you
jet-
shoot things.
Oh, I don't actually know.
But you could do something like a cool one-off movie with just that because it's a jetpack thing. It's just you
Yeah.
fight aliens in a jetpack. It's awesome.
That sounds very fun.
Yeah.
I
Math
forgot
Blaster.
this is Sega because it's been so long. Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage would be cool. Just beat
okay,
up people on the street.
Streets of Rage. Would there be a story behind it, or just be people
Yes.
walking on the street beating the
Yes.
shit out of each other?
It's a gang movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So-
then
Also, guys have mohawks.
a girlfriend
It would-
would be
I
kidnapped,
feel-
and they have to go beat up people to get her back.
I would.
It would be the opposite.
I
They turn it around, the
feel-
guy gets kidnapped.
Oh, and then she beats people up.
Let's
It's
do
like
it.
girl
I'm down.
power
I
right
feel
there.
like
Yep.
it would be similar to what the Double Dragon movie was.
No, it would not be garbage. Hopefully.
Yes, we would not. Allow
I'm sorry. I feel like Streets of Rage is a recipe for a dumpster fire.
Otherwise, there's a couple of small things left other than my last little bit here. I would not be surprised if they do it just because it's a kids thing. Super Monkey Ball.
Super Monkey Ball
They
would
just,
work.
They just do something fun with it.
And if that is one,
Never
they could
played
do
it,
as a
that's
movie.
the
but
I
they
wouldn't be
could
shocked
do
if they do it just because it'd be like. And this is again, we're assuming they're going to make films that are
Yeah.
outside of Sonic.
They could also make a kids show about that.
They could,
like
yeah.
a cartoon. That would be that would translate really well. To
Otherwise, there's the aforementioned Vector Man that you talked about.
cartoon. Yeah.
I forgot this is Sega. The Conduit, which was a first-person shooter for the Wii.
Oh yeah.
Which was like an alien thing. They could actually do something with that. Virtua Fighter, which, I mean, again, it's just...
only if they keep the look of the virtual
Okay.
fighters, where they're very.
I
Where
feel,
they're all
I feel
polygon.
like
That would be very funny. I don't know.
yeah, that would be a bit.
Or
it would be Street Fighter the movie 2.0.
And the last one on the list, actually, well, there's more because there's stuff on the side, but like acquired things that they have, but like in their own library is Yakuza.
Yeah.
And Yakuza, I was saying in the movie as we left, if they were to say want to do a Yakuza movie, have balls, no English.
But
Yeah.
I feel like
That would be big balls. Big balls.
That would
I
be
feel
big
like
balls.
it would work now because of Parasite. It definitely gave some influence.
I
on
think that
subtitled movies.
also not to mention
and also Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Well, that's so long ago. I think most people forgot
But
that existed.
I don't think so, because that was like...
If you were under the age of 25, you probably don't remember Crouching
Possibly,
Tiger.
but that was...
I think that came out when I was a kid, and the only reason I know about it is because my parents rented it thinking it wasn't going to be like some crazy thing.
Yeah,
It was very crazy.
it was crazy. I like it.
But
But good crazy.
I do
with,
have one more franchise too that we didn't list.
Like if maybe it's something else.
but
like, what is it?
I feel
sorry, I'll let
like
him finish.
now that with Parasite winning, it may make the general audience more open-minded to watching a film with subtitles. As someone who's grown up with Bollywood and Hindi films, I'm used to watching movies with subtitles because my Hindi is not very good. So I've grown accustomed to watching a film like
The
that.
problem is I worry that the mainstream audience wouldn't, but I would want them because like I said, it would take balls for them to do Japanese only.
Yeah,
It would take them serious balls because that is a major
When
risk.
Parasite won,
That does again.
no, but what happened is when it wins, a lot of people, like generally, like you were talking about the most, like since Godfather till now, us as a collective group have barely watched any of the movies that have won Best Picture.
Have watched
But
lots
what
of
happened?
Yeah, no, Putin over there is
I
like
can
is a guy
watch
that
it.
actually.
I used to
watches a lot
actually
of
have
this
a
stuff.
thing where I went out and watched every single movie.
I like
Yeah.
good movies, and American Beauty is a very good movie.
Yeah,
Is it?
It is very like this movie,
Oh, yeah.
Parasite. It is like, oh my gosh, these things actually go on, and people are like this. The American Beauty like that too. You're like, oh, what happened beyond
Yeah.
the front door
yeah.
is surprising.
I really like that
I get
movie.
what you're saying, but what happens is, a lot of times the movies that win Best Picture, we haven't even fucking heard of them. But when they win Best Picture, we gain a curiosity about it.
Yeah, so again, you're trying to make it seem like because Parasite is a best picture that suddenly people will like subtitles. No.
No, but if people will garner an interest into watching it.
That's
Parasite, yes.
Yeah, 'cause
But
it's
that's
like-
where it will end.
Or maybe
for
another
most
Oscar
casual
movie.
viewers, yes. If Yakuza somehow got an Oscar nomination,
yeah.
sure.
Because who's
But
seen Parasite is not who's
a
seen Yakuza.
casual, like, we're not talking about us who have a little bit more. I'm talking dumb mainstream moviegoers.
Yeah.
They will only watch Parasite because it is a best picture, and their brain is like, well, it's the best picture. I have to see it. After Parasite, they will never watch another Korean film again unless it wins another award.
Yeah.
Guarantee you.
A lot of them, yes, but there
But
are going
for
to be some
yeah,
who
but for
have
every
gained an
one,
interest.
there will be 10,000, if not more, that will
yes.
not.
There are
Just-
lots of people. I say you must watch the Russian show, The Method. Very good, and lots of Scandinavian movies.
What's
I say
the-
you got to watch.
There's
like
a lot of
Do you
good
have
stuff
any-
on services
Do you have
that
any
are
There's
multiple
actually
languages.
documentaries that you would suggest to
No,
us?
but everybody say I cannot do subtitle. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I used
Putin,
to actually be that guy.
I cannot do subtitle. I like the English, and I go. You're missing the best movie because you cannot
Because
get
you
past
can't
the
get past
subtitle.
Well, and this is
Yeah.
the thing, as a guy who now watches a lot of anime, I used to only watch things in English because, as a young, dumb fucking kid, I'm just thinking, I don't want to think about it, I just want to be able to understand it. Now, I realize, oh wait, if you listen to it in its source material, in its original language, you get the actual proper inflections, all the proper emotions, the timing. Anime in Japan, a lot of it is filmed in a group. Whereas in English, it's like Dragon Ball Z, for example, is a great example. When Christopher Sabat as Vegeta, still fucking great, but he records in a booth on his own.
Yeah.
He watches the animation and records the line in time.
Yeah.
In Japan, I have seen videos of a group of 20 actors in a room going through a 5-minute bit of dialogue all together. Because that way, the comedy is on point. They're looking at each other and they're getting the proper reactions. So everything feels real.
I never, like, most animated movies, the person films their dialogue separately and records it separately.
That's another problem, too. A
I
lot of
don't-
it feels lifeless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a lot of times, like I just don't get that because without that interaction there, it doesn't feel natural.
The biggest
Yeah.
piece of comedy, especially, is timing. And if you're alone in a booth, timing will never come naturally because
Like,
it's impossible.
I think
Yeah.
Toy Story, eventually they started doing the voice acting together, and Toy Story got better as it went
Yeah.
along.
Yeah.
But I mean, to go back to the
Second.
languages thing.
Okay.
It is true. Like, we should be having the openness to see more stuff in native languages because that's where you're getting the true value of them. Because of translation, like, I imagine that a movie that gets brought to China and they dub it in Chinese is not going to be nearly as good as if you had seen it here in English.
Yeah.
Like, Bad Boys is a great movie, but is Bad Boys going to be really that good in Ukrainian?
Not really.
Probably even better.
It'll be fun, but again, the translation might not be the same.
Well,
some of the values won't be the same.
So the one movie,
lip sync will
The
look
Departed,
weird.
was based off in a Chinese film called Internal Affairs. And apparently that movie itself is fucking great. But it's like, unfortunately for myself, I probably won't watch it because it's influenced off of, it's the influence for The Departed, so I kind of like have a pre-notion as to what the storyline is like one of the cops is part of the mob, and he's their like internal guy for getting away with shit. Mm-hmm. So I probably won't watch it, but apparently the original source material film is fucking great as well.
Just like the movies, The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest, the girl who played with fire from Scandinavia, very good movie.
Oh, what's it called?
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. Like, a lot of those movies, without the mainstream press, like, if let's say without Best Picture, if I tell anybody in our group of friends about Parasite, or if I actually, not even our friends, because our friends will kind of, we'll bounce off each other and we'll be taking interest. If I go to a random person on the street, like, I meet somebody for the first time and I tell them about Parasite, and how I tell them how it's a Korean movie, they'll be like, oh, okay, I might check that out. But in their heads, they're thinking, it's fucking not even in English. Why would I care?
There's one I'll tell you about. You all have seen the Tarantino film Reservoir Dogs, right?
Yes,
of course.
Yes, I see a long time ago.
So, there's a Hindi movie called Gante, and it's essentially a remake of Reservoir Dogs. Honestly, I think the movie Gante was better.
Race bias.
There's a very, very big race bias.
I'm really not.
I do not have race bias. I can say this. That is race bias.
So I'm
what about Icarus?
Do not talk about Russia like that.
So that movie was a lot more fast-paced, a lot more action-packed, and actually showed the bank robbery as to where Reservoir Dogs did not. So I feel it was an improvement upon the original film of Reservoir Dogs. But the problem is, most
no one will
people,
see it because, again, it's
the subtitles.
Yeah. And it's not even really a race thing. Like, obviously for some it would be, but realistically, people just, they don't like
want
the
to
idea
read
of
when they're watching
subtitles.
something.
Yeah.
Lots of Americans will not watch amazing Russian television show from the Soviet era, Shoe and Shoelace, where one is nothing without the other, because they hate Russia. The bastard racists.
But yeah, straight up, like, as someone who's played now, I'm now about to start the 5th Yakuza game, as it's been remastered now.
When was that
and those games,
made? Originally?
Oh god, mid-2000s, I believe.
Oh, okay.
If not, like, early 2010s. The series as a whole is great. I love the fact that there is an English voice acting because the emotion is so much better in Japanese.
Yeah.
Because they yell at each other in such passion. Whereas in English, it almost sounds like some of the stuff that they say wouldn't go over well.
Yeah, it just wouldn't translate well, yeah.
But, yeah, no, if they would do a Yakuza movie, I'd understand why they do it in English. But I would love them to have a Japanese at start.
I feel like the Yakuza movie would be the easiest one for them to also translate to the screen because there's already a story in the game.
Oh, yeah, they could absolutely do a
They wouldn't
full
even,
story.
yeah, they could just,
and
adapt it for
because
the
like
big
so much of the game is the wacky shit, you can probably take 2 hours of the actual story of the original game and just go.
Yeah.
You could probably pull it off.
Absolutely.
But yeah, otherwise, this is the only thing that they've acquired that isn't technically their own, the Shin Megami Tensei stuff. If you want like this creepy, like
So Death
There
Note.
is another one.
no, like Persona. Well, what was the one that you were trying to say?
Valkyria Chronicles or whatever that one's called.
Oh, that was in the footage. Yeah, that's not on the list for some reason, which is
that's
weird.
I think I have.
Oh, I see, because it's listed as Valkyria and not Chronicles or Revolution like it is. That's why I didn't notice it.
As I have mentioned it that it would work better as TV shows. But what do you guys feel about these three? Comic Zone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember it.
So Kid Chameleon and Vector Man.
I don't remember. Well, I remember Vector Man barely, but like those are the kind of things that it's like I couldn't tell you.
They
So,
would have to
Personally,
probably
I
do
couldn't
shows.
tell you because I don't remember.
I
also don't have any nostalgia
Comic
to
Zone, I think, could work as a one-off movie where it was filmed like it was a comic book.
Yeah, it would
And
be
then,
like doing
like-
Sin City. Like they'd have to do it in an interesting art style or
Yeah.
something.
Kid Chameleon was I don't know if you remember that game. He wore different helmets and
Like I said, I'd never-
attained different abilities.
Yeah, I don't know if that would work well as a movie. I could see that being more a kid's show or something like that.
And then Vector Man. Would you do you recall Vector Man?
I recall enough to think that I don't think it would make sense as a film.
About the cereal.
Even as a
Nobody likes
would-
cereal. Stupid
I
man.
don't know. I think Vector Man.
What? He eat the cereal Vector and now he's big man?
Yes.
Stupid.
So he's
And then he eats some Edge, and then then he turns to Wolverine.
Whoa.
This is
if
a very
you
cheesy movie.
if you Google Vector Man,
I know what it is.
okay. Well,
I literally just said I know what it.
sorry.
I just, from what I remember of it, I'm like, I don't know if you can make a movie of it unless you like just fabricate something entire. Because let's be honest, everything
Well,
on
because
this
Transformers has been made into
everything on this list,
bad
yeah, but Transformers have had a story.
It's true.
Did-
Very
are you
bad
sure?
movie. Megan Fox no good at.
They had a cartoon.
Did they? But the movie Transformers, did it have? I
I don't care about the story.
Okay.
I don't care about the movies, but they made one because they can just chew in a story. Like any of the games on the list of Sega franchises, they could technically make a movie out of, but they would just be bullshitting. That's the thing, right? Vector
know.
Man, I don't feel like there is a movie there unless they just make one up.
Okay.
So if you say, could it be a movie? The answer is yes, except I don't know what the fuck they do. That's my answer.
Okay. No, I was trying to see your, because those are three one-off games that I remember. I think Vector Man had a sequel. I thought that game was fucking fun as shit. I still think it's fun as shit. I remember playing it on the Sega Greatest Hits on the PS3, and thinking like, oh yeah, this game is fucking fun.
Oh yeah.
And like it was cool. Like he was almost a transformer himself. That he would transform and gain different abilities, like becoming a train. And I just think it would be something cool to see.
There's a lot of stuff that you could see like actually being a movie. The problem is what actually would be. If I was to guess anything they do immediately, Golden Axe would be the first thing I think that would come to mind because it's got a blank slate. You can do anything with
Yeah,
it.
and
Yeah.
Golden Axe could be an epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could probably do something silly with like one of the racing games, like a Hang On or an Outrun or a Daytona or something like that. I think Yakuza, there's potential there.
I think it would make a better TV show than movie. But what about Madden '95?
See, it's funny you say that because I was going to end the show with the best Sega franchise that they could do a movie out of. Joe Montana's
Montana
football.
That is true.
Sports talk football.
Joe Montana, he's a winner. He's a good guy.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
I like a Joe Montana.
And that's all I got to say about that. So
Okay.
unless you guys got anything else to add?
No,
No.
I think Valkyria or whatever it is, Chronicles would be a good one, just because it's a big story alternate universe during like World War II.
Well, that's the gist of it. I think so much of what's there,
Do we have
you
to
can make
restrict
it.
it to?
We're not doing TV.
No, do we have to restrict it to Sega franchises?
Yes,
Or
because
different?
that's where the conversation
Okay,
was.
just trying to fucking.
So
figure it
because this motherfucker never follows the rules, I'm going to do my own rule, and that's end the goddamn show because I'm fucking starving, by the way.
out. Madden.
Gotta go fast.
That is
Gotta
very
go,
rude.
gotta go
Very rude.
fast for chicken wings. I like the idea
You
of
like
that.
to
love
eat
it.
food. The chicken wing. Yes, that's a good wing.
See, even if Putin agrees. If
I agree.
Putin agrees, see, we can get along.
We can. We find the common ground. It's good. Good ground.
So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for checking out this edition of the VCR podcast, and we will see you on the next one when hopefully Vishal, follows the rules. We know that's not gonna happen.
It's not.